So my name is Andrea Swan, or Andrea. 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 If it starts with an A, I answer. I have 2 books on Amazon, Letting the Irish Show and the Celtic Tribe Travel Guide, Raises Vibes. And I'm working on a children's book about Hopi Indians, and I'm also working on my movie. So, and low budget, real low. In fact, I'm playing all the characters. But it's gonna be good. All right, so you'll be happy to know that I'm not doing my Irish accent tonight. So here we go. Tonight, I'm taking you to the happiest place on earth.
Disney?
I don't know if you know. Not Disney, but so close. It's Louisiana.
Yeah.
In fact, Louisiana has been voted twice as the happiest place on earth. So, let's go. Sheriff Fontenot pulled on up, and he saw Marie on the porch. Well, she comes flying off that porch. He's standing in front of his cruiser, and she says, "Is my Boudreaux drunk again?" And she keeps looking, trying to see in the back of the cruiser, but she can't see him. Well, the sheriff stepped on out. And he said, "Well, I got some bad news. I sure do." He says, "Well, you know, Boudreaux and his friends Pierre and Tion, they was out fishing the Tetchy late last night. And really, the boys don't know what happened. Well, it seemed that Boudreaux got something on the line, and he was reeling it in, and it started fighting him, and he was holding on. He said, "It's going to be a big one." And they're going, "Hold on now, get it in there." And he's pulling and pulling, and at some point, the skiff moves over towards the bank, and Boudreaux stands up, and that's where they don't know what happened. Maybe he conked his head on a tree branch, but he done fell out the boat. And Pierre and Tion, they be calling for him for next to an hour. "Boudreaux! Boudreaux, where you at?" But there was nothing. And it was so dark, they couldn't see nothing. Well, they got all this stuff together and they head straight to the police department for a missing person report. And I go on in, but once I heard their story and how they couldn't see nothing, and it had been an hour, I said, "You meet back up here at the light of day, first break, and we'll go looking for them." And the sheriff called it in on the radio. "We got a missing person." Shh. Well, when they all met up at first light, they'd already responded to the sheriff's report. Somebody had seen something floating in the river by Bow Bridge. And all the boys hopped on into the cruiser, and they got the lights going, and they drove 18 miles down to Bow Bridge. And Pierre says, "I think I see it." And Tion starts running. He's going to jump in that water, and they go, "Wait, maybe it's a gator." So Pierre, he says, "I can hook him on that jacket." And he's pulling him on in. He's getting closer, and y'all ain't gonna believe this. When they pull him out the water, good Lord, there was a whole bushel of crabs and crawfish latched onto him. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Well, that man is dead. And he's still fishing. Of course, Marie, she's getting the drift here. So she starts to cry and making the ugly faces. And he's like, oh, now the chef knows you got to give him a minute. Got to catch your breath. So he just starts rattling on. He goes, you know, I knowed Boudreaux since we was this high. We come up together. And everybody around here in the Atchafalaya Basin, they know Boudreaux. He's the best fisherman out there. Ask anybody. Now Marie, she's a clutching her hair, and she's all upset. So the sheriff said, well, Marie, I'm here to ask you something. The boys want to throw old Boudreaux a fay-do-do on the banks of the Teche at the park. And I believe that's how he would have wanted, don't you? Marie didn't quite answer. So he went on and on. He said, well, Tion's already making a crawfish etouffee. And Pierre's calling the band. He got Thibodeau on the fiddle, A-Bear on the accordion, and T-Rex on the washboard. Thank you, from Louisiana. Okay. Oh, it's going to be good. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. Ooh, Sheriff's getting a little carried away. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun
on the bayou. Catfish pie, me oh my.
Anyway, Marie's still freaking out. And he said, so Marie, is that gonna be okay with you? He didn't get any response. He said, well, I'm gonna have to wait a minute, I guess. He said, Marie, you hear me? And then finally, she put her hands down and she said, he's going, oh, the sheriff was so excited. I gotta get the beer. I gotta get the word out. I gotta get some bait. Because me and the boys, we're getting together again tonight. We're going fishing. Yeah, we're going to float old Boudreaux back on down to Teche again tonight. I bet we get another bushel. Oh, he was so excited. He got back in his cruiser and he got his lights a-going. Ee-yaw, ee-yaw. And he says to Marie, ooh, girl, we're going to let the good times roll. And you could still hear him after he teared out down the street at the stop sign. And then say it with me. You could hear him say, laissez les bon temps rouler. All right. Do that.